Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be using something in our natural dyeing process that I found on the ground when I was walking Coco, my dog. We found some amazing sweet chestnuts that had just fallen off the tree. In fact, we were almost hit by one, and they're very sharp and spiky, so I'm glad we dodged that. I collected them all up very carefully. I did spite myself a little bit and came back and gave them a good old wash twice and dried them out, and then I made some dye out of them. Today we're going to be using ferrous sulfate to make an iron bath at the end of the dyeing process so that we can colour shift some of the fabrics. You'll be amazed at the range of colours you can make just by doing this iron bath. A day or so before, I made sure that I prepared lots and lots of fabrics. I find scouring and mordanting a little bit tedious, so I tend to prepare lots and lots of different things in one go. This time I prepared tote bags, kimono silk, and lots of different cottons for future projects. If you want to see me scour and mordant, watch the onion skin dyeing video above. I've got my chestnuts, and you know, I picked them up off the ground and I gave them a good wash then, but they've been drying outside, and I think I'll just give them one more wash just to be on the safe side, and then we're going to see if we can get any colour out of them whatsoever. I'm being really careful here because they're very sharp. I'll use this water to put on my plants outside, and I'm really not sure what colour this is going to be, but we'll just experiment. Now I'm going to put them one by one into the dye bath, and then I'll add some water, and then let's just boil them for a bit. I think I'll probably have to steep them overnight, which I usually do with my dyes anyway, and the plants have got their water for today. That's pretty cool. So nothing's wasted. I'm going to bring it to the boil, and then I'm just going to simmer it. I'm going to do the same method as all of my dyes, which is just cover them with water, simmer them for 40 minutes or so, and then leave them overnight. I'm trying to save energy that way. I don't want to be using too much gas because I do get through the gas at this point. As you can see, I've just covered them so they can bob around. Put the lid on and just put the gas on. It's been 10 minutes and it is so hot in this kitchen because we're having a late summer in Japan. I don't know why in September it's still 34 degrees. What the colour is so far. This is only 10 minutes. The colour's really rich already. And as predicted, there's this soapy stuff coming off because I know I'm British, so we don't have so much of the sweet chestnuts, but we have a lot of the horse chestnuts, which are slightly different, but I had a feeling we use them for soap in natural processes. They call them conkers, the nut inside, and they produce a kind of soap, so I'm not surprised to see kind of a soapy consistency coming out of these. So I'm going to leave it another 10 minutes and I'll check in again, and then I'll probably just let it steep overnight and see what happens. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes and I'm just going to check on the colour using I only use all these pots and utensils just for dyeing, so I never drink out of these. As you can see, the colour already, it's quite amazing already. It's kind of like a orangey brown, gorgeous colour. So I'm going to let that go for another 20 minutes or so, and then I'm going to possibly pop in some swatches for overnight and then see what colour I can get by tomorrow. Okay. Okay, just to let you know that I've been soaking my fabrics, and I've got a bit of cotton yarn. It's 100% cotton. I didn't pre-mordant that, so it was just a bit of an afterthought. I'm going to see what happens anyway. So I've just made sure that these are really soaking through, and I'm waiting to add them to the dye bath later. It's a really dark colour. I can imagine it would go this dark, but it's really rich, gorgeous. I'm going to be careful not to burn my hands on the dye, but there you go. It's a nice deep rich orange, like tea coloured. So overnight, when I let that steep, I think it's going to go even more gorgeous than that. Just make sure you unravel everything so it gets an even spread on your dyes. I say this in every one of my dye videos, but you know, I don't know how many of them you've watched. There are a lot now. So if you want to go back and watch how to dye with black beans or avocado, I've got them all there. Onion skins. I've been dyeing with pomegranates is up next. It's a lot going on. Oh, olive leaves. Usually it's things that I've found, and even though I live in Tokyo, it's surprising. There's riches on the streets. You'd be surprised. Foraging city is a bit easier than you think. So all these are kind of crunched up because I just wrung them out, but just put them in nice and flat. And this is the questionable one because I didn't pre-mordant this. I just bought this from the equivalent of from the 100 yen shop, from our equivalent of the dollar store the other day, and I made sure it is 100% cotton, and in theory it should work, but I didn't pre-mordant it, so I don't think the colour is going to be that gorgeous, but we'll see. And I'm just going to now make sure that there's an equal spread of dye through, and the colour already, even after a minute, is already gorgeous. So it's amazing that you can make this dye for practically nothing, just a bit of water and a little bit of gas or electricity, and you've got something gorgeous. You can rejuvenate your old clothes or bed sheets or anything. It's amazing. There's no nasty chemicals going into the environment either. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, it's day 2 of the chestnut dye, and I haven't even peeped yet, but this is the colour that I got by steeping overnight. Looks like a really deep colour, but it doesn't look like the fabrics are a massively deep colour, although the silk, as usual, has done super well. Oh, that is pretty, actually. I feel like the cotton is going to dry really light, but that's okay. It's just an experiment. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to get the fabric out, give it a rinse, and then I'm going to do an iron bath and see if I can shift the colour a little bit. This is my first time doing an iron bath, so if you've got any tips, please let me know if I'm doing it right, or I don't know, I just want to see if I can get a richer colour than that. It seems like a lot of work and a lot of dark dye for this kind of colour. All the this is so cute. Oh, they are cute. They're like little hedgehogs. I'm very conscious not to touch these because, gosh, they're sharp. I don't even know whether they're still sharp after they've been in here, but in the rinse, looks like the colour's actually quite rich. Even the one that I didn't pre-mordant has come out okay. The cotton, as usual, it's a kind of greenish colour, which is strange. We'll give it a good rinse until the water runs clear. Oh, I think it's really quite pretty. It's got a green tint, which is not what I expected. Okay, it's green to me. Okay, so everything has been rinsed, and I'm pretty happy with the colours, to be honest. Something strange is happening with this one. I think it's just touched something on the table surface, but anyway, it's quite nice. So this side, these are still wet, very damp. This side I'm going to do as is, and we're just going to hang them up to dry now. So I'm going to move those out of the way. And this side is going to be the ones that I'm going to try to colour shift. Now, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I know I have to be very careful here. I've got warm water. I feel like warm water would work the best. And I'm using ferrous sulfate, which you need to, I've opened the door, so I'm absolutely boiling. It's very hot in Tokyo at the moment. You need to have a ventilated space for this. Wear a mask if you can, or do it outside. I'm just going to put a little bit of this ferrous sulfate into some warm water, and then I'm going to see if I can shift the colour. Here I go. I'm going to put my gloves on too. I don't want to scald my hands, and I don't want them to come into contact with chemicals if I don't have to. So there we go. Beautiful gloves. Okay, I'm going to open up the ferrous sulfate. This is a brand new one because I've never done this before. It's a lovely bluish colour. Really like that colour. I have heard you just need a little pinch of this stuff, so I am just going to put a tiny pinch into my warm water, and I'm just going to mix it around. So all you have to do is just mix it in. As far as I can see, it's oxidizing a little bit, and then let's just see if we can shift the colour. I don't know. You can make your own iron water by getting a jar and vinegar and water and putting in some rusty objects like nails or screws or whatever, but you know, I just bought it. So let's try the cotton, see what happens, see if anything happens. Oh, immediately it's changed to a kind of grey. Oh, I like that. Try this one next. Wow, that is interesting how quickly the colour changed. Whoa, this is very cool. Next I'll do a piece of slubbed silk, which is really, really orangey yellow at the moment, and we'll see what colour it shifts to in literally a couple of seconds. So I'm just agitating it because I want a sort of even colour. Oh wow, that's changed to like a darker orangey colour. Give it a few more minutes. Now I'm going to try, this is 100% cotton yarn, which I didn't mordant, remember, so it might not be as vivid, and some more vintage cotton. But you can already see where I've touched it that it's changing to a grey. That's interesting. And see where I touched it with my gloves on. It's already changed. Right. So I must make sure that I wash these gloves thoroughly after this process is over. Now look at that. That was orange before, and now it's completely changed. It's like magic. Okay, and the last piece of silk is just a regular piece of vintage kimono silk lining. I'm sure you're going to hear on all my videos so much construction noise because they're going to be building until, I think they're finishing in January and they're making a really big house next door to the studio, so it is going to be noisy. I'm trying my best to edit out any of the really bad sounds, but bear with me. Wow, so some of these colours are so different. This is the gauze and this is the cotton. It seems to work really well on cotton actually, the colour shift. This is I don't really know what this is. I feel like it's silk, but I still don't know. Wow, that worked well without mordanting. This silk is always the best to dye. Honestly, it's like a raw silk. It always goes an amazing colour. So from that yellowy orange to these incredibly dark and rich. Now I think I want to stop here because I think these are getting quite dark and I don't want them to go too grey. The colours are not as bright as when you just use the pure mordanted with alum fabrics, but if you're looking for something a bit more moody, this is absolutely amazing. Okay, we're all done. Here are the final results. This is the chestnut only dye. It's such a lovely yellowy green colour. It works super well on the silk, as always. This is kimono silk. And also it's a nice, very, very pale sort of lemony colour on the cottons. So it's really nice. A very pale yellow though, very pale, considering the colour of the dye. And this is on a cotton gauze. It's very, very pale. But if you lay that next to white, it's definitely a lot more yellow. So that's a really nice array of colours. Now we're going to show what happened when we colour shifted with the iron bath. This is what the cotton turned out like. And when you lay them, I'm going to lay them side by side so you can see. So there's the cotton and there's a shifted colour. Here's some silk, plain silk. And this is the shifted silk. That's amazing, isn't it? Oh wow. And this was the cotton bed sheet. And here is the same cotton, but colour shifted. And the gauze. This is regular colour, and this is the shifted colour. And this is a kind of slub silk, like a raw silk. This is the chestnut colour, and this is the shifted one. Wow, gorgeous. And this is the kimono strings, chestnut only, and after the iron dye bath. I also did some cotton yarn, and this wasn't mordanted, so I think the colour was a little bit blah. It was a creamy colour to start with, but yeah, it's a little bit more yellow. Not perfect though. And then after the colour shifting, it turned this lovely shade of grey. So there you have it. We've dyed with chestnuts and shifted the colours to make an amazing array. Thanks for watching today. If you're interested in more thrifting and crafting videos as well as life in Japan, then subscribe to my channel and then hit the notification bell so that you know when I've uploaded some new content. See you next time.